Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy iSub coming back at you with another episode of Winning in Fortnite for Season 6. This series will be loaded with commentaries to help you win more in Fortnite. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Any support is greatly appreciated. Enjoy. Alright, so we're basically going to kick things back off in Tilted. Now, like I always say, if you want to get better at the game, you usually want to land in the spots where most people are going to be. You know, it just gives you more opportunities to be able to battle with other players. And so, nowadays I tend to land here almost all of the time. On the odd occasion I'd probably land in Paradise, you know, if we're passing that way. But yeah, anyway, we landed Tilted. And ideally I try to land in the middle, but because of my jump, didn't really perfect it this time, so the clock tower looked like a bit of a good option. And it's got a little bit of high ground on it, so we can kind of see what's going on below us. So, you know, at the beginning there, even now, we're kind of taking a quick peek just to see if we can see any players standing around on the top of buildings, because, you know, those allow us for those nice, easy kills. And so we pick up shield and a slurp in this situation. I mean, it's awesome to have full health when you're sort of in the starting phases of a game, just because it allows you to be more aggressive and take more risks. But anywho, we hear a player running around. Sounds like they're on the ground somewhere, so we're going to sort of build up, have a look around the corner, and there is a player just to our left there. Now we hear them build up, so we pop over to that side of the roof to try and take a look at them. And they know we're there, so they're looking for that double ramp rush. And we're just going to pop in there, get a nice angle on him, finish him off with the SMG. These SMGs are OP, man. You always got to carry one, you know. So we have a quick look just to see if anyone was peeking at us. No one there, so we pick up the sniper. You know, it might offer us a few opportunities throughout the beginning part of this match just to get a few kills. And we hear a porta fort just go up to the right there. So we'll probably pop back into the house and take a look at the situation through the window. You know, a safe environment, just so we can see what's going on here. So it looks like the players actually jumped off of the porta fort. And at this point, I wasn't actually too sure what he was doing, so I just wanted to gauge what the player was up to at this point. So we're just taking a peek, you know, using our right-hand peek just to see what he's doing. We're not really too sure what he's doing, so we'll continue harvesting the building. And ideally at this point, what we're looking for is a shotgun. We got shield, we got an AR, we got a long-range weapon. We got an SMG. All we need now is a gun that's going to offer us that one-hit power. So, you know, we're hunting around for it. And unfortunately, we can't find it at this point. So we're just trying to see if we can pick them off with the AR through the window. So we're peeking. We didn't actually find anything, so we'll probably head back down. It's kind of how it goes in Tilted, you know. It's good to take a look out the window first before you just run out into the open and, you know, could possibly get yourself into trouble. So we find a chest downstairs. Head back up. Probably have a look at what's going on out there. There's a lot of noise going on outside, so obviously there's quite a few battles going on out there. And if you can see, as we go, we're always kind of, you know, having a quick chop at a few trees. We get 20 off of that, we get 20 off of that. You know, you do that a couple of times, and you end up with, you know, a couple of hundred wood, which is really handy in the beginning phases of a game. And so as we approached this building, we actually heard a player that was inside, and it sounded like they left the game. Don't know why. Maybe it's because they didn't get very good loot. But we pop into the building anyway, just to investigate the situation. And as you can see, I'm always harvesting. We're always taking that opportunity, especially with these one-hit objects. You know, it doesn't hurt just to pull your axe out and just take a quick swipe at it for, 7, 8, even possibly up to 10 wood. And anyway, we find this guy's loot, and he has a shotgun. Now, I know that the double barrel is quite a powerful shotgun, but it's pretty unreliable in the current meta. And so I pick up the pump. So now we're trying to get on top of this player. We used our little crystal ball to kind of get some height advantage. And yeah, I get the feeling that he kind of knows what he's doing, This guy knows how to use his roofs, and usually these players have some sort of building knowledge. So we have to be careful here. I'm trying to figure out where he might be coming from, because I hear a bit of building downstairs. Now I hear fighting. I hear two players going at it, so it's a perfect opportunity for me to sort of pop in and have a look. But this player is not letting us take a shot at him. And we can hear a player to the west as well. So there's two players in this building. We are trying to get an eye on any of them. Ideally, we don't want anyone to build up and catch us by surprise. So we hear one player go down. Now we know that there's only one player left. And we find him in this room. So we take a nice little peek shot at his feet. Took off a little bit of damage, so he's probably a little bit shook. We hear him chopping away at the wall underneath us, so it sounds like he is going to try and build up and over us from the side here. And we find him, we give him another pump shot, pretty weak shot, but we get there, so we're going to build up, try to go back over the top of him. And then he jumps down. And at this point, I think it appeared that he ran back into the building. But we scout the area. We're going from top to bottom, trying to listen for footstep sounds to see where he is, and we find him down the bottom here. So we're basically just going to look to finish him off with the AR or whatever weapon we have. And he's got a pretty decent loot, so yeah. Now it's important to understand in that situation that when you've got multiple people in the building, you don't just rush into the building. Pros can do it, probably because they've got very fast reactions, probably because they're really skilled at what they do. But in general, if you're just the average player, you don't really want to put yourself in those positions just yet, because it's quite tough trying to not only look for the players, 1 to 2 players, but especially on console, from what I've learned, players love to camp in little rooms and wait for you to come down, so you don't want to put yourself in that situation. Just stay on the high ground. Keep an eye out for where they might pop up from. Pay attention to the footstep sounds and where they might be. And listen to what they're doing, because in that situation we heard him chopping into brick, so that meant, or in my interpretation of what he was doing, it meant that he was looking to build up and over us and get onto that high ground. So we both kind of had the same idea, except we were a slight step ahead of him. But anywho, at this point, as you can see, we continue to loot tilted. And every chance we get at any of these, one-hit wooden pieces, we chop them, because these things translate into material, which comes in really clutch when we get into these battle situations. So we head over to the fish building, we look down the bottom, and we see a slurp and a few other things. Slurps are important, eh? But since we had good health, we had a lot of shield, we just drunk it. Just so that no one else got it, because, we don't want 75 going into someone else. Now, you might be thinking in this situation, well, what am I up to? Because I just traded a blue pump for a grey tac. In my personal opinion, tactical shotguns are better than pump shotguns. I mean, it's up for debate, obviously, because I know that a lot of pros tend to lean more towards power, with the pump and also the heavies. Heavy, yeah, I could go with a heavy. But, pump shotguns I think are broken. They need a lot of work done on them, and so I decided to go with the tac. Grey tac is pretty rubbish, so I mean, if you don't agree with me, fair enough. But I generally tend to roll with the blue tactical over any other shotgun, just because they are faster. And we don't have the world's best internet, so, we're just going to go with a gun that can give us quick results. But anywho, we find a player here. We saw him behind the tree, so we're just getting into it. And we're looking for that high ground. Now, it turns out that there's a third-party member out to the northeast. So we're just getting that high ground. We want to stay on top and know what's going on beneath us. But this guy is spamming the rockets. So I'm making sure that I am not in the pathway of those rockets. And then we find this player here. So now there's a good opportunity for us to whip out our spam weapons. We got our tactical shotty. And then the minigun. Man, this gun is an animal. It's like a cheat sheet, man. So now that we took care of that player, we're just going to take care of this guy. Now, we knew that this guy was a bit of a noob, He just spamming those rockets. He's just there for a bit of annoyance. But if we don't play this play correctly, one of those two players could have got us. And so, just remember there, we took the high ground. We assessed what was going on from the top. And then, when our chance came, we took a moment to pop that other player. And he was a decent builder. But when you're hurt and you're building and someone's minigunning you, most likely you're going to die, And so this is actually one of my other favored combinations, is the tactical shotgun and the minigun. The shotgun I use to just hit the player when he is out in the open, and then when he begins to spam the build, we just whip out the minigun, Minigun is still OP. I don't actually know what it's still doing in the game, but I guess, if Epic wants to keep it there, then that's really up to them. So at this point, we're kind of trying to figure out, like, what we want to do in terms of guns. I mean, it's basically like a buffet now, because we've got the choice of either a rocket launcher or, the hook shot. I think there's a bit of health down there. So we'll just heal up in this situation and we'll figure out what we're going to do. And, yeah. I think at this point I actually thought about it, and, with only 4 rockets in the tank, it just wasn't really worth it in comparison to the the 10 mini shields. Because, I mean, 4 shots and then it's done. Whereas, the minis could come in handy should we take a lot of damage. So we just continue to move forward from here and towards the circle. Looking to find maybe something else to engage in. Keeping an eye on our surroundings. If you notice the way that I move or rotate from area to area, you try your best to stay on the highest ground available to you. You see, we run at the top of the hill, not down the side of it. And we're constantly looking left to right. We're not taking too long to harvest so that anyone can line us up with a snipe shot. But we always take looks from left, then to, what's ahead of us. We'll take looks to the right as well, just to make sure that we're clear on our surroundings. Because nothing is worse than getting melted for 100 by someone holding an AR just because we failed to check our surroundings. And that's something to really understand on console, because with this aim assist, man, like, you can lose easily 100 to 150 health in a second. If someone gets a clear couple of shots with you, couple of shots at you with the AR. So we hear a bit of shooting in the east direction, and I was feeling pretty lazy in this game, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to be a nuisance and see what happens. If one of these players got annoyed and chose to come across and, you know, have a go at me, I wouldn't mind too much, because then we could get into a one-on-one battle. But at this point, I'm just looking to chip off shield from each of the players, you know, annoy them a little bit, be that guy that's on the side that's just bugging everybody. And I covered myself just then, just to make sure that no one built up behind me and took any, you know, heavy shots at me. And so these players are still battling it out over here. So, you know, we pop a few shots in there just to be an annoyance. I mean, you know how it feels when you get shot at from some random area. It's really annoying. It's frustrating. And it tends to rush your decision making and make you, you know, play worse. So anyway, we're continuing this annoyance. Just being a nuisance. I'm quite enjoying myself. Yeah, we're just chilling on the hill, seeing what's going on. And I hear a snipe shot out to the left, so I got to be wary. So one of the players went down, and we're just going to continue to annoy them. Not a good idea to jump down. Anywho, we hear a player fly out of the sky after using the rift to go. Now, if you don't want them to land right next to you, that's exactly what you do, what I just did just then. You place a floor, and then you place a trap on it. Then they have no choice but to land below you. Now, this guy had a rocket launcher. Unfortunately, he ruined my high ground. So we're going to try and set up a situation where we can whip the minigun out and punish this guy. Because if he's on his medal, you never know, he might just run out. So he takes a shot at us, and we quickly switch to our walls just to protect ourselves. Now we continue the onslaught. Now, it seems like he's ran down to the right side of Dusty Depot. And I'm guessing that this guy doesn't have much mats. So he's just trying to get a few cheap shots at us. So we are going to look to build, get some ground on him, and then finish with the minigun. Now, we are in a powerful spot right now. We're going to get this finish. And he goes down. So I think, unfortunately for him, I don't think he knew that we had a minigun. Miniguns are pretty OP, and in that situation, there's probably not much else he could have done. Unless he had a lucky heavy shot, maybe? I don't know. So at this point, we are looking now to use the rocket launcher. It's got 8 bullets, and with how powerful the rocket launchers are, I mean, these 8 bullets, or 8 rockets, should I say, could come in clutch for us down the stretch. So I chose to just use the rocket launcher combined with the minigun at this point. Because I just got the feeling that these players are pretty good, you know, and I felt like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish them with a shotgun alone. The minigun is powerful. It's definitely going to put in shots for us. And I decided to use the rocket launcher. Now, there happened to be some player running around down the bottom here. He just gave us a free kill. But I was more concerned with that player up the top. You see, because he knows where we are. And he's waiting for us. So now I'm loading up my heavy artillery. As I always say, I always go blue tack over everything. So once I saw that tack, I was in there. Now we are in a 1v1 situation. And it's just me versus him. Now I have to go towards him. And he is waiting in this building for us. So what I'm doing here, you see how I'm moving towards him. I'm always building cover. Not running directly towards him, but using my cover. Now this guy has a rocket launcher. And he is in a pretty powerful position. Not only that, I just found out right now that this guy could build. So it was going to be a tight situation. And he was using his rockets pretty well. Getting in good position and trying to find an opening where he could pop us with a rocket. But we managed to outbuild his rockets. And we continue to do that. You see how we continue to stop these rockets from getting through to the back of us by building. And then I look to build up and hopefully get over the top of him. But unfortunately, I failed in this situation. Now, we're in a pretty tight scenario right here because we are low on health. If we drop from here, we're going to die. So I need to get out of this situation. So I edit through and I look to drop down so that we can play at the low ground. I can take a few bullets, but I can't take any fall damage from here. So I'm looking to even out this fight by taking down the building structure. But unfortunately, he jump padded away from us towards the circle again. So right now, we're in an urgent situation. We have to get close enough to open up with the minigun. So I'm just spamming these rockets at his builds until I can get close enough to open with the mini. And here we go. Now we start the onslaught again. Now this guy is also on metal. So that means that he must be pretty close to running out. So we now are in a powerful situation. If you see how we now turn him away from the storm, now he has to move towards us. And he's going to take a lot of damage. And at this point, we were able to finish off the match. So I just want to say, guys, thank you very much for joining today's episode of Winning in Fortnite for Season 6. I hope that you learned something from today's game. And I will see you next week. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you enjoyed the content. Your boy iSub is out. And I will catch you on the next episode of Winning in Fortnite.